Sometimes it burns, sometimes it hurts. When you say my name, but it's thinking of hers. I don't wanna know, don't want you to go and leave me behind. No, I don't wanna see if it isn't me who's on your mind. 'Cause I don't know what you're looking for. Oh, and I don't know what to do. Hold back, let go. There is nothing more for me to show. You're hiding to breathe, running from me. Do you really wanna be in love? Halfway from home, picked up my phone. I stared at your face, but it's not your tone. Saying, oh hello, who are you to call me late in the night? She says, I just gotta say that it's here with me and not where he might be. 'Cause I don't know.
Hey, what's going on, AC? Good for Gaby. Hello. I am in fact live tonight. It is Sunday Fun Day. AC, that's an interesting strategy. I'm not sure it's going to work out the way you think it is, but hey, who am I to tell you what to do? I'm not your dad. What else do I have to do right now? Oh my god, setting up a Discord is such a pain in the ass, I swear to god. It's the worst. It takes so much time. Like, especially if you're organizing it with roles and different different permissions for everybody. It is a web of shenanigans. By the way, once I do have the Discord server set up, I do plan on actually. You see, I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but the window to my right, well, stage right, to my left, to my left on your screen. This thing you're looking at is actually a separate screen, and I'm planning on potentially, once the Discord is set up, having guests on, and then we can put their face in this window here. Moenop's phone makes things, she says, into stickers. Yes, yes it does. So I hear. Yeah, I mean, I'll take emojis for the server, undoubtedly, but I've got an entire trove of emojis sitting around that will be part of what I'm doing today. We'll definitely be uploading emojis to the server, 100%. Oh, thank you for all of the beautiful emojis. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Hey, mowing up. Good to see ya. Good to see ya. Wait a second. What's going on here? Oh, that's what I forgot to do. I didn't go live on Twitch. Sunday FUNDAY. I should have gone live on Twitch too, and somehow my brain froze. Full dial-up internet connection tone. We're gonna have fun, but I'm gonna switch it. Hey, chill with the music. You heard your stickers are being mentioned. Your stickers were absolutely mentioned, mowing up, and I believe it was AC who made mention of said stickers. No, why do you hate me, YouTube? I thought we were friends. Clearly, we are not friends. Oh my god. Do. Let's see. What should we? I might not comment a whole lot, but we're gonna watch some stuff here while we hang out.
We want a deal now, the Israeli protesters chanted as the call for an end to the hostilities in Gaza grows louder.
Tinkerbell? No, I don't believe so.
That you have had to beg the people.
Oh my god, I'm getting so many Discord notifications while I'm on it. Why must I?
It makes me sick.
Frustrations have clearly reached a boiling point as police moved in with horses and water cannons, leading to multiple arrests and injuries. The protesters are demanding two things: the release of Israeli hostages and an end to the humanitarian crisis that has engulfed Gaza. This doctor says 3 to 4 babies are being crammed into incubators made for one. The only thing they're guilty of is that they live in Gaza. But there is hope, however faint, that the basic contours of a hostage deal and ceasefire is close, despite the fundamental differences between the two sides.
The goals that Israel has and the goals that Hamas has are very, very different. Israel, as well as just about every democratic state, understands that there cannot be peace in the Middle East unless Hamas is removed. Hamas wants an agreement that somehow would allow them to rebuild and stay in power. And those two goals are not compatible.
Hamas started out with just crazy demands, but if they come down to a reasonable situation, then yes, we'll have a hostage. I hope so.
Yet Prime Minister
Christ,
Benjamin Netanyahu
that's my bad. That's my bad.
Insist that an operational plan for the invasion of Rafah will be approved this week, and without a deal Israel is happy with, he says the conflict will be over within weeks, not months.
We have a long, long way to go. There is some optimism, but I think we have to temper that.
Chat.
With the
it is Sunday FUNDAY after all, so
Hamas
not as serious of a stream as usual.
Is holding something like 100 hostages, and that they have.
We're just gonna keep up on the news here, but my commentary may be slightly less than usual.
Russia's invasion in numbers.
As I wanted to stream still. I wanted you all to have a place to come hang out, but I have so many things to do on Discord and
of commitments are not delivered on time. We'll lose.
And I stream every day, it seems.
We'll lose.
My time is very limited.
Wavering Western aid compounding losses on the battlefield. A Canadian delegation stops in Poland for a diplomatic visit.
The Ukrainians do not fly the Red Cross because it just makes them a higher value target, which is very unfortunate.
I watch Electronic Intifada. What a question, you see. Of course, I'm subscribed to the channel.
Anti-organized crime sweep. The police crackdown in Quebec as violence between gangs escalates. Commemorations inside a historic church founded by the son of a slave.
Most of them have some roots in this church.
Honoring a rich legacy while celebrating a vibrant culture.
Global National with Farah Nasser. Reporting tonight, Nitu Garcha.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. As the war in Ukraine enters a third year, tonight we're getting a glimpse into the grave losses and the heavy price Ukraine's military has paid on the battlefield. A day after world leaders, including Canada's Prime Minister, made a surprise stop in Kyiv, reaffirming their commitment to wartime Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky revealed 31,000 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed in the 2 years since Russia's full-scale invasion. Also today, Ukraine's defense minister said his country was losing territory in its grinding war with Russia because 50% of weapons promised by the West had failed to reach Kyiv on time, and that alone was leading to setbacks and deaths. Zelensky was speaking at an event in Kyiv where he also spoke about a Ukrainian peace summit that he hopes will lead to an end to the war. Many independent estimates think Ukraine's military death toll is even higher, but this is the first time in more than a year that Ukraine has openly given details of how many soldiers have died. Redmond Shannon has our top story tonight.
Ukrainian gunners tending to their howitzer artillery unit near the front lines in Donetsk. I honestly do not know what will happen if munition deliveries stop, says the unit commander.
The situation is always dynamic.
The Minister for Defence said Sunday that half of
whatever committed that doesn't come on time will lose people, will lose territories.
A day after Canada's commitment of another $3 billion, part of a new security pact, Kyiv's push for more help goes on. Most notably, the $60 billion of aid stalled in U.S. Congress. At a news conference Sunday, President Volodymyr Zelensky said international elections are key to how the war turns out, although he did not explicitly mention the prospect of a second Trump presidency. Zelensky also addressed the toll of 2 years of war as Ukraine looks to recruit more soldiers.
31,000 Ukrainian troops have been killed in this war.
It's the first such official figure from Kyiv in over a year. Some independent estimates put that number at least 50% higher, but it is a very difficult figure to nail down during a war. Independent estimates for Russian military deaths vary greatly, from about 50,000 to over 100,000. Zelensky also spoke about the next Ukrainian peace summit this spring. He's hoping countries, particularly in Africa, Asia and Latin America, will support Kyiv's peace plan.
And I think the main goal for Ukrainians would be to bring this across, that if Russia wins this war, this will destabilize the world and will also be a problem for countries very far away.
Zelensky said Russia is preparing for a new offensive in May or early summer. Battlefield information made public, perhaps aimed at members of U.S. Congress. Nitu?
All right, Redmond Shannon in London tonight. Thanks, Redmond. Canada's diplomatic efforts were on display once again today. The Prime Minister stopped in Poland, continuing a tour focused on Ukraine. Canada is playing a key role in Ukraine's war effort, equipping Ukrainian soldiers in Poland. Canada has trained 39,000 Ukrainian troops as part of an ongoing defense effort called Operation Unifier. More than 300 Canadian soldiers are currently deployed in Poland and elsewhere as part of that operation. And today, a delegation of top government officials got a better sense of what Ukrainians need and what more Canada can do to help. Our Abigail Beeman is in Poland's capital tonight. Abigail?
Nito, Canada has been criticized for not delivering the aid it has promised fast enough. That commitment now tops $13 billion. At a visit to a Polish military base, the defense minister acknowledged there have been challenges.
This is a simulation of a mortar or drone strike. Medics rushed to treat 2 people seriously hurt. The vehicle was taken out too. On this Polish medical military base, Polish and 14 Canadian soldiers train Ukrainians. It's part of Operation Unifier.
The work they are doing here is literally saving lives.
Sunday, the Deputy Prime Minister, Defense Minister, and Chief of the Defense Staff got a first-hand look at the work Canadians are doing and a better sense of the urgent need.
When they leave here, they don't have the tools and the life-saving kit that they require to do that great work. So we were just trying to, in any small way we can, push a recommendation for us to have certain items such as tourniquets, litters or stretchers, and hypothermic management kits.
Major Heath Robson says Ukrainians are forced to improvise. In the field, doors become stretchers. Canada has been criticized for not delivering aid fast enough. The defense minister says the new 800 drones promised could be delivered as soon as April. Meanwhile, there's no timeline for the delivery of a badly needed missile air defense system bought a year ago.
There have been some challenges in providing Ukraine with what they need. We work very closely with them. We work with all of our international partners. We recognize that production is prevention, and we need to do better.
The Deputy Prime Minister learned about an additional challenge from the soldiers here. They told her Russia is targeting medics. You take out a medic and more soldiers are likely to die. It's a war crime under the Geneva Convention, and it changes how these medics function.
The Ukrainians do not fly the Red Cross because it just makes them a higher value target, which is very unfortunate to hear.
We can't show you the faces of the Ukrainians on the base now. There are 50, the biggest cohort so far, and they're worried about what could happen to their families. But we can tell you one is a veterinarian, a number are young soldiers with no training.
We have a really close relationship on the military front. It's been really excellent. They've welcomed Up Unifier.
Canada's ambassador to Poland says the country is looking for continued support and engagement from all countries as it sits on Ukraine's doorstep.
The Prime Minister did not visit the base. He is in Warsaw and will meet with Poland's President and Prime Minister Monday before flying back to Ottawa. Nito?
All right, Abigail Beeman in Poland tonight. Thanks, Abigail. The last barrier is about to be cleared, with Hungary getting ready to ratify Sweden's push to join NATO tomorrow. Hungary is the last remaining member of the military alliance to approve Sweden's application, which was made in May of 2022 after Russia launched its invasion of Ukraine. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban said on Friday last week that the country's parliament will vote on Monday to green-light the bid. If successful, Sweden will become NATO's 32nd member. For the first time in 3 months, there is some optimism that another temporary ceasefire could be reached in Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu confirming today that negotiators are working on a potential hostage deal that would lead to a pause in the fighting. It comes as more than 1 million civilians are trapped in southern Gaza in desperate need of aid. Our Mike Drolet has more on the negotiations and how they come amid a growing backlash to the Netanyahu government's handling of the conflict.
We want a deal now, the Israeli protesters chanted as the call for an end to the hostilities in Gaza grows louder.
It makes me sick that you have had to beg the people whose job it is to bring them home. It makes me sick.
Frustrations have clearly reached a boiling point as police moved in with horses and water cannons, leading to multiple arrests and injuries. The protesters are demanding 2 things: the release of Israeli hostages and an end to the humanitarian crisis that has engulfed Gaza. This doctor says 3 to 4 babies are being crammed into incubators made for 1. The only thing they're guilty of is that they live in Gaza. But there is hope, however faint, that the basic contours of a hostage deal and ceasefire is close, despite the fundamental differences between the 2 sides.
The goals that Israel has and the goals that Hamas has are very, very different. Israel, as well as just about every democratic state, understands that there cannot be peace in the Middle East unless Hamas is removed. Hamas wants an agreement that somehow would allow them to rebuild and stay in power. And those two goals are not compatible.
Hamas started out with just crazy demands, but if they come down to a reasonable situation, then yes, we'll have a hostage. I hope so.
Yet Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was quick to insist that an operational plan for the invasion of Rafah will be approved this week. And without a deal Israel is happy with, he says the conflict will be over within weeks, not months.
We have a long, long way to go. There is some optimism, but I think we have to temper that with the realization that Hamas is holding something like 100 hostages, and that they have not in the past respected any ceasefire.
Even if it's not the end of the war, a temporary ceasefire.
That dude's camera was like 2-bit. It looks so bad. Look at it. Oh my god. It's almost impossible to tell what it is he's decided to use for a web camera, but it was a terrible choice. I think he might also be doing a green screen, but it's kind of hard to tell because it's so granulated. By the way, I think I heard him suggest that the only way to end the fighting is to get Hamas out of power, which is a bullshit sort of postulation, if you will, suggestion. Very, very stupid pro-Israel commentary from Global News here. I was barely paying attention. I just picked up on it.
And that they have not in the past respected any ceasefire.
Even if it's not the end of the war, a temporary ceasefire could allow civilians to get out of harm's way. Mike Trollet, Global News, Toronto.
U.S. and British forces launched a barrage of strikes against Houthi targets in Yemen overnight. According to the U.S. Central Command, more than a dozen sites inside Yemen were.
Here's the question. Why is it that the United States and the UK feel it necessary to launch strikes against rebels in Yemen, but feel no responsibility in stopping Israel from annihilating Gazans, starving Gaza? Like, what's the fucking difference? Oh, that's right, because the Houthis are attempting to stop Israel. They're like one of the only groups outside of Palestine that are trying to do anything about it. That's right. I forgot.
Targeted retaliation for repeated Houthi attacks on Western-flagged ships moving through the Red Sea trade route. Multiple weapons facilities, air defense systems, and radar towers were hit. The Houthis say their attacks in the Red Sea are in solidarity with Gaza. It's the fourth time the combined forces.
Here's an analogy that might stick with some Americans more. Imagine this, okay? Imagine it's a parallel universe that we're in. Okay, we're on Earth. Most of the timeline is the same. However, let's just postulate, right? Just for a thought experiment here. Ooh, thought experiment. Oh boy. Watch out, chat. Thought experiments, dangerous. Okay, so let's just pretend in this thought experiment that somehow, instead of completely annihilating the Native Americans, the Native Americans were able to maintain a more like a larger area of land and a larger population, and America didn't manage to suppress them into near disappearance from America. Let's suggest that they were up till now fighting us on a regular basis. Would we be right in just decimating them? We took the land, right? We took the land, and they just happen to disagree that it's our land, right? And this is, once again, This is a fictional scenario in which, you know, the timeline is slightly different, but just think about that for a second. Would we be right in doing something like that? I think most people, reasonable people, would say, no, that's fucking stupid. Just because you have some sort of a, you know, desire, a manifest destiny in your mind doesn't mean it exists for other people, specifically the people you're attempting to oppress.
Carried out operations against the Houthis since Israel launched its ground offensive. Quebec police crack down on organized crime. Coming up, the escalating gang warfare over drug territory fees leading to waves of violence. Plus, a Regina family strikes Gretzky gold, the hockey cards fetching millions in an online auction. Police.
The amount of money that some cards are like worth is a real comment on where capitalism is at. Do I know what manifest means? I believe it means made up. If I'm not mistaken, let's look that up. Let's look that up. Manifest. A definition, please. Oh no. Wait. I might have been wrong. What does it mean? Manifest. Oh, manifest means clear or obvious to the eye or mind. As an adjective, as a verb, it means to display or show a quality or feeling by one's acts or appearance, to demonstrate. Synonyms: display, show, obvious, clear, plain, apparent, evident, patent, palpable, events. Interesting. Well, it's not apparent to me. It's not apparent, as it turns out. Okay. I think I've seen enough of this global national thing. I was going to try and read this just now for you people, but wow. That's a tough word. Part of the problem is I don't speak Ukrainian. Dozens of buildings in Kostyantynivka city in the Donetsk district were damaged after heavy Russian shelling, according to Ukrainian officials. I guess that is Western. Brandy Nuance, welcome.
Зазнала декілька ворожих обстрілів. На жаль, слідство вицілює ворожий обстріл, бачите, цивільні об'єкти зруйновані, вщент, житло мешканців зруйновано, потребує відновлення. Зараз надамо допомогу.
Была вспышка яркая, очень ярко осветила дом. Вот. И был звук характерный, ну именно такой жесткий звук. Открылись двери. Вот. Ну, а потом узнал, что уже сюда прилетело на ЖД вокзал. Ну, это не первый прилет. Так что.
Oh, cool, destroying historical and church historical and religious sites. That's good. That's another good old war crime. Good job. Good job, Russia, with the war crimes. Okay. I guess no big deal. Jesus Christ. What are we living through right now, people? The world is falling apart.
For civilians in Gaza, a ceasefire can't come too soon. The UN warns of a growing risk of famine on top of the unstable security situation there. This report from Fergal Keane begins in Rafah, where an estimated 1.5 million people have sought shelter.
It is mostly a story of exhausted waiting. Each long minute, they seek anything to fight the pain of hunger. The young, who each day go out to feed their families. A charity is able to offer beans, a bowl per household.
My God.
11-year-old Mohammed Zorab spends every day seeking food for his family.
Oh, Jesus. It's supposed to be fun day. It's supposed to be Sunday fun day, but I keep finding news that I want to look at, and this one's hard. This one's rough. Okay. I guess we'll keep watching it.
When I go back to my family with this food, they're happy, he says, and we all eat together. But sometimes I go empty-handed, and I feel sad. This is northern Gaza, where hunger is worst. And so much other suffering too. 2-month-old Mahmoud Fatou is one of the vulnerable victims. The doctor examining him told us how he had died.
لم يستطيع توفير الطعام لأمه لكي تستطيع إرضاعه. طبعا كلنا صعقنا التعامل، احنا ممكن نتعامل مع أي واحد من أطفالنا بعد هيك زي ما تعاملنا مع الطفل هذا.
Israel says the UN is failing to organize distribution in the north. But the UN says it...
I just gotta say this to chat right now. I am so sorry. I said it was going to be Sunday Fun Day, and it is not turning into Sunday Fun Day. The opposite. This is the fucking opposite of fun. This is depressing. God damn it. God damn it, I tried. Okay, I fucking tried, chat, but I'm not perfect. And certainly the world is not perfect right now. So, second you start looking at it, watch out. Trigger warning.
Died.
هذا الطفل لم يستطيع أهله توفير الحليب اللازم له. لم يستطيع توفير الطعام لأمه لكي تستطيع.
Fucking fuck, dude. This is insane. I feel like I'm counting down to the death of 2 million people right now, and it is tearing me apart inside every single second. And there is so little that I can do personally that even this feels like not enough at all. Like, I just wish I wish I could just end it right now myself, one man. One man, hey, stop that. No, hey, that's enough. Okay, no, you go back over there. Okay, yeah, thanks. No. Back. Okay, all right. We're gonna give them food now. Okay, now you be good. Otherwise, you're gonna go in timeout.
طبعا كلنا صعقنا التعامل، احنا ممكن نتعامل مع أي واحد من أطفالنا بعد هيك زي ما تعاملنا مع الطفل هذا.
Israel says the UN is failing to organize distribution in the north. But the UN says it can't because there's lawlessness now, and that Israel has a responsibility to create security.
Before October 7.
In Israel, opinion polls suggest many support the views of Zvika Mor, whose son
Is that what democracy looks like? Is this what democracy looks like to you? Religious extremism? honestly, it's violent religious extremism. I mean, who was it that was just talking about this? Ben Gavir, right? Itmar, saying, "Oh, every single Israeli has a gun, and we're handing out more." Wow, sounds like a peaceful, democratic place.
Will suggest many support the views of Zvika Mor, whose son Aitan is a hostage in Gaza, and who opposes any aid being sent without the return of all the hostages.
It sounds very harsh when you're talking about civilians, babies, children dying. Yes, but we have babies.
Yeah, AC. I think we actually watched part of that, not the Intifada version, but I watched we watched aspects of that video already yesterday.
And women.
It was just the original video, I believe, not Electric Antifada's Intifada. It's Intifada, not Antifada. I'm thinking Fran on the brain for some reason.
and the elders, okay? It's very, very simple. Give us our people and we will give you food and medicines.
Of course, hunger is only one enemy of the young. Back close to Rafah, the casualties of bomb blasts and bullets from fighting further north, as the war between Israel and Hamas grinds on.
We're seeing a lot of children, especially.
That's a child. That was a child's leg. Missing. Why? Why and how? Why and how is it that the powers in charge of the global paradigm can watch this and say MBD? It's all available on YouTube. It's all available right here. We can all see it if we just look for it, and they seem utterly unfazed by it all.
Blown up that can't be salvaged, can't be saved, including upper limb, also lower limb. And what it's going to do is it leaves an entire generation, the next generation of Gazan civilians, very, very disabled.
Giving up isn't a choice, not with a family to be fed. A father out trying to find work, a mother with bone cancer. Mohammed's family is stranded where history and hunger have trapped them. Fergal Keane, BBC News, Jerusalem.
Palestinian police escorting aid trucks in Gaza are being regularly attacked by Israel's military. And that's as tens of thousands of people are starving in the Strip and civil order is breaking down. So is Benjamin Netanyahu's government creating a security vacuum in Gaza? And if so, why?
By the way, also, just so you know, AC, like one of the other things that I've been trying not to do, here, I'll at least make my face available while I'm talking. I should just do that. One of the things I've been doing up till now, because I have not spoken to anybody from any of the leftist podcast on YouTube up to this point about my channel or about my intentions with the channel, I'm avoiding playing any non-news, what do you call it? Like any non-news sources, essentially. So if it's somebody else, I'm trying to avoid going into being focused on the personalities on YouTube and more focused on what's happening in the world. Not that I wouldn't mind looking at some videos from different people, MR, you know, Surfs, NCC, whomever else. But the thing is that first off, I would feel bad if I did something without somebody else's permission and that they did not appreciate it. So for me, it's kind of, it would be a faux pas. I think it'd be wrong of me to start playing leftist creators that I respect, their videos that aren't necessarily considered news and it's valuetainment, right? I don't want to do that. it's got nothing to do with my like my liking their content, right? Like I got Electronic Intifada is a great channel, and for that reason, I'm going to respect them and not just play their videos on my channel without their permission. By the way, the name of this just seems so quiet. Why is it so fucking quiet? I swear to God. This is entitled "Israeli Military is Targeting Palestinian Police." It was dropped earlier today around noon Eastern Standard Time.
Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Darine Abougeda. The Biden administration says Palestinian police trying to help deliver aid to Gaza are being targeted by Israel's military. And they're among others in positions of authority like journalists, doctors, and ambulance workers who've all been repeatedly attacked along with civilians. And this comes on top of the destruction of infrastructure from the north to the south, including hospitals, schools, roads, communication networks,
Is that in response?
and the water system.
Hold on. Is that in response to what I was saying just now, Brandy? I appreciate it if it is. It's just the conclusion that I came to naturally when I started doing it this way. Because I mean, I've been a streamer for a few years. Took a break for like a full, almost maybe more than a full year and a half almost. Came back very recently. But that was just it like a lucid state. It was just like, no, we're not gonna do this. We're gonna, and it just kind of happened. It was just a decision that just came to me, and I just have stuck with it up to this point, and I just don't intend on going back on it. Essentially, these people have contact information, and if I was more organized, I would reach out to them. But I'm still trying to build the Discord, get everything working smoothly on the stream. It's a work in progress. Okay, so I appreciate everybody's enthusiasm, so don't take it wrong. Okay,
It's part of a deepening humanitarian catastrophe as tens of thousands of people are starving and heavy fighting is continuing to take lives. So why is Israel systematically targeting all arms of Palestinian Authority in Gaza? And what does this mean for the future governance of the Strip? We have plenty to discuss with our guests, but first, this report.
U.S. officials are urging Israel to stop attacking Palestinian.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to restart this video because chat keeps saying based as fuck things right now. Brandy, exactly. There's nothing wrong with reaction content, but there is an ocean of it. And for instance, like NCC's already got that covered so well. Like I've been subscribed to NCC for a while now, like ever since I found her, and she some of her streams are insanely long. They go in depth to a degree I don't think I'd personally be able to, partly because my knowledge of the Twitch ecosphere, while is more than some, it wanes in comparison to her abilities and knowledge. So I just feel like she's already doing a good enough job, let alone any of the other people that are getting in there. So why do you need another one of those? Here is hopefully this place will be at least a unique enough space that it can stand out and be separate's the wrong word. I think you get the what I'm trying to say. My brain isn't fully functioning right now.
Palestinian police escorting aid trucks in Gaza are being regularly attacked by Israel's military. And that's as tens of thousands of people are starving in the Strip and civil order is breaking down. So is Benjamin Netanyahu's government creating a secure...
Yeah, Brandy, I struggle with it too. And the thing is like I streamed on Twitch for I probably have like 10 times as many followers on Twitch as I have subscribers on YouTube. And like my understanding of the Twitch ecosphere is it's like a sliver of what NCC covers, and sometimes I do kind of like glaze over and like, who are we? Who is this person I'm looking at, and why are they relevant to me? And it can, I wouldn't say it's frustrating, but it's just like it makes me I definitely know way. Let's just say this: NCC has made it so that I know way more about Twitch personalities than I did like whatever like a year ago, 6 months ago. Who knows? I'm trying to think of when I first started really watching her content.
Vacuum in Gaza, and if so, why? Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Darine Abougeda. The Biden administration says Palestinian police trying to help deliver aid to Gaza are being targeted by Israel's military. And they're among others in positions of authority like journalists, doctors, and ambulance workers who've all been repeatedly attacked along with civilians. And this comes on top of the destruction of infrastructure from the north to the south, including hospitals, schools, roads, communication networks, and the water system. It's part of a deepening humanitarian catastrophe as tens of thousands of people are starving and heavy fighting is continuing to take lives. So why is Israel systematically targeting all arms of Palestinian Authority in Gaza? And what does this mean for the future governance of the Strip? We have plenty to discuss with our guests, but first,
U.S. officials are urging Israel to stop attacking Palestinian police, trying to ensure.
Oh, damn. That's not showing up there, though.
And the U.S. says
so much
that's
quieter.
allowing armed groups to seize control in the Strip,
God.
especially in the north. This has caused the number of aid trucks entering Gaza to reduce significantly,
Well, chat, that's
and
an
has
F.
led to more
That's an F for me.
Palestinians being forced from their homes or shelters.
Oh, you can
and
barely hear me. It's probably because I'm
widespread
whispering
starvation.
and not talking directly into the mic.
The situation is tough, rough, and difficult anywhere in Gaza Strip. The whole Palestinian people suffer too much. We all suffer. The world mocks us and gives us a can of beans. The Palestinian people can't afford to buy anything. 1 onion costs 3 shekels. We have never seen that before. Some families have been all killed in one go, and their names will never be there in the records. This is not fair.
Seriously though. The fact is, and if I recall correctly, there was a story that came out about Israel destroying records, literally. And the thing is, I keep looking at chat, and I keep missing what's happening in this video, and I feel like I have to go back a second time. But if they're not talking about that specifically, I mean, think about that. Just like they come in, they destroy graves, they destroy churches and mosques and records. It's one of the most complete ethnic cleansings. Like, it's systematic, and I feel like I have 2 options: laugh or cry, and I always pick laugh, but it's not funny, and it really makes me upset.
I am 73 years old, and I have never been in such a miserable situation. I've seen so many wars, but this is the worst. I've never witnessed anything like this starvation. We used to suffer a lot, but not like this.
On Thursday, Israeli aircraft bombed buildings belonging to Palestinian police in the middle of a crowded market in the Jabalia refugee camp in the north. U.S. officials say at least 11 police officers in Rafah have been killed in Israeli airstrikes in recent weeks. Vital infrastructure, including hospitals, schools, roads, and the water system, have also been hit, worsening the humanitarian crisis. Israeli officials say they have drafted plans to enable aid to get into Gaza.
Yeah, you know, I hate to make a hugely broad judgment on the entire international community, but we were watching a video yesterday, and when I watch these, it genuinely feels like there is a pecking order of suffering, and Palestinian suffering is down the list. Anybody in Africa, good luck. You know, Southeastern Asia, go fuck yourself. And it's disgusting. And there shouldn't be a hierarchy of suffering. Everybody suffering should matter, and like human beings deserve to have a chance in life.
such as by cooperating with local groups that oppose Hamas. But it's unclear whether these proposals...
They're going to find out what kind of dog karma is. Yeah, I guess we'll... Well, I'm not... First off, I'm not a very religious person, but I hate to rely on karma. Karmic retribution often takes much too long, you know? Sure, are there instant karma videos on YouTube? Yeah, but in real life and in situations like this, often instant karma is not as instant as we might like.
That include the opening of a new crossing in northern Gaza will be implemented in the near future. And any role for the international community in the future governance of the territory is also uncertain. Felix Nyawara, Inside Story.
Think about that. Like, and it, like, I know it's in the middle of a war and all this other stuff, whatever else. But think about it. Like, and maybe you weren't familiar with Palestine before all this very well, but like, just think about it in terms of your own life, right? Like, if you saw that many people just carrying food in your town or city, wherever you might live, like, what would, like, nobody's doing anything else but just trying to feed their families and themselves right now and to avoid dying. Like, can you imagine your life devoid of anything but those two things? Take out your job, take out your family, maybe, not necessarily, but, you know, take out a lot of the things that you might do watching this stream, watching any of the other streams you watch, having access to electricity, and just thinking, all I can do right now is go and get a bag of rice, hopefully, and carry it back to my family or community, people that I need that need food. And the amazing thing about the situation is I've seen the Palestinians, like, all of this video of people waiting for food. And in America, I feel like if people were starving as bad as the Palestinians are, they would not band together in the same fucking way. There would be riots and violence in the streets. And they seem to be just taking care of each other, and it's truly mystifying to me. And I genuinely am, like, I guess impressed is almost the wrong word, but it's just like shocking to me that there's so much organization still with zero infrastructure.
Okay, let's bring in our panel of guests to unpack this situation, which has crucial consequences for the people of Gaza, as well as global politics. Joining us from London is Chris Guinness, who is a spokesman for UNRWA during previous Israeli attacks on the Strip, and he's now the director of the Myanmar Accountability Project. In Ramallah, in the occupied West Bank, Walid Habbas is a researcher at the Palestinian Forum for Israeli Studies. His work focuses on colonial structures placed by Israel on the occupied territories. And joining us from The Hague is Sultan Barakat, who's a professor of public policy at Hamad bin Khalifa.
Oh, good. Good. It's a good start. We got somebody from The Hague to talk to. I like where we're heading with this.
University here in Qatar. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. Thanks so much for your time. Walid in Ramallah, if I may start with you, is Israel deliberately targeting the aid workers, the police in the Gaza Strip?
I know that Al Jazeera has to attempt to be fair and balanced, but what a question. Literally, I mean, I think UNRWA has already basically come out and said that as much as that. So, I mean, yeah, I guess let's hope that somebody here's got a very concrete answer to this question. I'm pins and needles over here.
As well as other people in positions of authority?
Yes, for sure. Intentionally, Israel is targeting everything. I wanted to say that the day after plan, which Netanyahu introduced days before, includes what Israel doesn't want from Gaza and does not include what it wants exactly. And therefore, if I may analyze the situation, Israel is trying to...
let me just...
There seems to be a bit of a controversy in chat as to whether America would band together or fight one another, and I would like to believe what Wireless Mike has said is true, rather than what Brandy said, not because of a any sort of a difference in opinion of either of you, but just because that one just sounds so much more optimistic. I'd love it. I mean, to be perfectly frank, I'd love to be able to go through life thinking that that's the case all the time, but I've just seen a lot of examples of the opposite. Granted, I have also seen examples of exactly that, and, you know, I think it depends somewhat situationally. So maybe it's Sunday Fun Day, so let's be optimistic, huh, folks? Let's try. I know that I was falling into a doomer sort of cycle there just now, and I feel like that's on me. Maybe slightly on the actual state of the world. Some combination of the two.
Stop you right there for just a moment, Walid, because we're going to talk about the plan that Netanyahu has submitted to Security Cabinet when it comes to the day after. But first, let's just look at these attacks. Why do you say that Israel is deliberately targeting these people? What do you base that on?
Because Israel wants to deprive Hamas from three important things for him. First, the administration of the civilian affairs, including, of course, later on the education and the healthcare, but currently any type of administration inside Gaza Strip. The second thing is the reconstruction process. And the third thing is the humanitarian aids and money. And by the way, this is why also UNRWA is targeting in a way or another. So showing like having Israeli civilian police by Hamas controlling the aids that coming inside Gaza is one of the targets that Israel have been like in the last 2 weeks.
Look who it is, BCat. Welcome back to chat. They've only had each other for decades, whereas we're indoctrinated with rugged individualism and hypercapitalism.
Have decreased the number of trucks entering Gaza very sharply, and one of the reasons is that there is no official party inside Gaza to receive these aids and to distribute them. If we want to connect this to the current negotiations in Paris, Israel uses this as a strategic tool to impose pressure on Hamas, of course, because in this way Israel aims at making a chasm, if I may say so, between the
Looney Tunes, FG, good to see both of you.
The Gazan population and the government of Hamas, or the Hamas in general. This chasm will create like a humanitarian crisis because nobody is administrating the population in Gaza, and this is exactly what Israel wants to do to increase its pressure on Hamas.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much, Walid, for that analysis from Ramallah. Chris Gunnis in London. Look, you were the spokesman for UNRWA during previous Israeli attacks. So you've seen what happens during Israel's wars on Gaza. Have you seen this before? And do you share Walid's assessment that these are, in fact, deliberate attacks by Israel?
Yes and yes, I have seen these before, and I absolutely do agree with Walid's analysis. Isn't it interesting, though, that Joe Biden, who gave a green light to Mr. Netanyahu for his war aim to completely destroy Hamas, is now realizing what we all knew in the first place, which is that ultimately Hamas will be necessary. Hamas will be necessary in the short term for the delivery of humanitarian aid. Hamas is more than just a vicious organization that kills Israelis, which is how it's portrayed in the West. Hamas is a political movement, and it's very clear that in order to deliver aid in the short term, the structures, the social structures, the medical structures, the other structures, the education structures are going to be necessary in the short term, in the medium term, and in the long term when it comes to discussing the reconstruction of Gaza. The idea that Hamas should be completely destroyed is absolutely self-defeating if ultimately what you're interested in is rebuilding Gaza and preparing the people there for participation in a two-state solution or whatever kind of state solution. And isn't it also interesting that as well as Biden giving a green light for destroying Hamas, the Americans are also giving a green light to destroying UNRWA. Now, if you destroy the Hamas political structures, as well as UNRWA's humanitarian aid structures, you are left with pretty much nothing. So I think we all need to wake up, and I think the American administration is waking up to the fact that this policy of underwriting Netanyahu's erroneous war aims are entirely self-defeating. The world should go back and remember what it was doing in 2005, 2006. At that time, the moderates, the technocrats, the businessmen within Hamas were being empowered to stand in elections. And guess what? They did stand in elections. The moderates in Hamas did very well. But what did the world do? Led by Israel, led by the Americans in the quartet, who took, of course, the UN's political office and all of the UN and the Russians and the Europeans as part of the quartet with them, they decided to isolate and effectively to destroy Hamas. We've heard this play before. It leads nowhere. We need to
give
start
us a sense,
empowering them.
Give us a sense, Chris Gunness, of what this means for the risk for the civilian population in Gaza as a result of all of this.
It's a very good question you raise, and the risks are immeasurable. Here we have 2.3 million people actually experiencing the beginnings of starvation. Starvation is a long-term, slow-motion massacre, and it has started. So the UN has already said, the senior-most humanitarian in the UN has said that 400,000 people are actually starving now. So if this policy is allowed to continue, attacking Hamas, destroying the Hamas aid workers, destroying UNRWA, the consequences will be absolutely...
Speaking of Biden, Chris Gunness was just mentioning President Biden, Sultan. So...
Oh, God, sorry. Sorry, chat, I'm back. Wow. Guess I'll make quite a loud entrance. I just needed to stop that video. I was listening to it. Oh my God, did I just blast this off of my freaking case just now? Oh, that was impressive. Hold on, chat. I just literally exploded my iPad case. Fuck, how is this even built? There must be a way to put it back together. We have the technology. We can rebuild him. Fuck. Oh, wait. That's kind of it. Let's go. Come on. Come on, baby. Let's be friends. You and me. Come on. Nope. That's not it. Alright, I'm gonna try and fix that later. Anyways, I stopped that video for a purpose because I just wanted to steadfastly agree, vehemently, if you will, with the last speaker. I'm just gonna rewind it a little bit so I can be here while it's happening. That's my keyboard. My bad. I forgot I had that hooked up. Why do I have so much stuff around me while I'm trying to do this? This is a disaster. Okay, backing it up just slightly, just so we can listen to the speaker again, who said some very astute things.
Population in Gaza as a result of all of this.
It's a very good question you raise, and the risks are immeasurable. Here we have 2.3 million people actually experiencing the beginnings of starvation. Starvation is a long-term, slow-motion massacre, and it has started. So the UN has already said, the senior-most humanitarian in the UN has said that 400,000 people are actually starving now. So if this policy is allowed to continue, attacking Hamas, destroying the Hamas aid workers, destroying UNRWA, the consequences will be absolutely...
I mean, the defunding of UNRWA over a 0.1%, not even validated, just claimed, remember this. Remember this. Most of what the IDF has said, they have not provided evidence for any of it. So they claimed that 0.1% of the staff of UNRWA were supposedly involved in the October 7th attack on Israel, but had zero evidence to back it up. UNRWA responded by immediately suspending those workers, but the West, the United States, Britain, a number of other countries that I'm somehow blanking on right now, but general idea is important. The West and those who are helping to fund UNRWA have now stopped, and so got a serious fucking problem that was created out of nothing.
Speaking of Biden, Chris Gunnis was just mentioning President Biden, Sultan. So his administration has reportedly asked Israel to stop targeting members of the civilian police force who escort aid trucks in Gaza, and apparently warning that a total breakdown of law and order is significantly exacerbating the humanitarian crisis in the enclave. What do you make of this response by the American administration? I mean, do they have to come out and say something at this point while at the same time continuing to arm the Israelis? How does this make sense?
They've been coming out and saying all sorts of things over the last few weeks while continuing to arm the Israelis, and clearly Israel does not take much of what they say into consideration. The idea I think the Americans are putting forward is central around a revitalized Palestinian Authority. And they have now called again for the two-state as the ultimate solution for the conflict between Israel and Palestine, as did many nations. I think Netanyahu is mistaken to think that now he can dictate on the Palestinians.
Hold on. I got a bunch of Discord messages while that was going on. I got to rewind it a minute. I'm so sorry, chat.
This response by the American administration, I mean, do they have to come out and say something at this point while at the same time continuing to arm the Israelis? How does this make sense?
They've been coming out and saying all sorts of things over the last few weeks while continuing to arm the Israelis, and clearly Israel does not take much of what they say into consideration. The idea I think the Americans are putting forward is central around a revitalized Palestinian Authority. And they have now called again for the two-state as the ultimate solution for the conflict between Israel and Palestine, as did many nations. I think Netanyahu is mistaken to think that now he can
Just to clear... Oh, I forgot my I turned off my camera. Hello, I'm back. Just to make it clear, and I got this is actually a response to a Discord message, but the person who was messaging me, I believe, is in chat, and my reticence, they're very similar words, you know. Come on, give me a break. My reticence to watch leftist podcasts is based purely on respect, as well as just my belief that their content is how do I? It's hard to phrase this. I feel like I've explained it multiple times, so I'm just trying to find another way to explain it. But it's just important to me that since I haven't spoken to anybody at places like Majority Report or Electronic Intifada, I keep saying Intifada because of Fran, or like Francesca Fiorentini, or any of the other leftist creators, Serfs, NCC, whatever, Hassan, if you want to include him in that. I'm just avoiding it because I respect them, and I respect their content, and that since I've spoken to none of them about even watching their videos, it just doesn't feel right to do it without permission. I wouldn't want anybody in this space to be offended by what I've done with their content, or to feel that I had used it without giving them any sort of notice or anything else like that. It just, to me, it's more ethical for me to just stay focused on sources like Al Jazeera, CNN, MSNBC, like the mainstream media, and focusing in on maybe on the ground sources, stuff like that. But for me, it's I'm mostly trying to avoid watching like actual quote unquote like content creators, right, rather than news outlets.
On the Palestinians and the rest of the world, what the future of Gaza would look like. It's a big miscalculation because of the mobilization that has happened in opinions, in courts, all over the world. People are not, I think will find it very difficult to accept what he's putting forward. His idea is to continue occupation, but without calling it occupation, without being accountable for it as an occupation. He's calling for Israel continuing to have full security control, not only in Gaza, but also in the West Bank. So he's reversing whatever small achievements have been made with the Oslo Agreement. He's talking about full control.
By the way, all the, just in case you guys have missed any of the recent podcasts that I've done, this whole non-occupation thing, we've essentially debunked at this point. It doesn't exist. It may have been arguable about 6 months ago, but at this point is no longer a valid argument to make based upon the construction being done in Gaza by IDF and Israeli construction companies. It's literally occupied now, 100%, without any doubt. And without any equivocation, you cannot argue against it. And if you're doing that, you're arguing in bad faith, and you should be denounced.
From the river to the sea, and within that, he would like the Palestinians to go back to the tribal days, where he would selectively appoint civil leaders.
Oh, my new moderator, BCAT, has made a very cogent point. Hassan has given the A-OK on people reacting to his vids. Here's the thing. There's about 13,000 Hassan React channels, and I don't think we need a 13,001th. Or first, excuse me, whatever. We don't need more of them, is all I'm saying. Hassan exists. We know he exists. He's the nephew of Cenk Uygur. Used to be a TYT contributor, if you will, but more of a host than a contributor, like a co-host. And I honestly kind of miss the days of watching him yell at Cenk in person. It was honestly... That's one of the only things I've considered reacting to. I was thinking about making a montage of all the times that him and Cenk argued and then reacting to that. But beyond that, I have not considered reacting to a single Hassan video, just because there's already another 10,000 of them. We don't need that. We got NCC for all that stuff. So if you're pining for Hassan content, go over there or one of the other many Hassan complex YouTube channels.
Tribal leaders who will then carry the aid on behalf of the population, manage their daily affairs and so on. And that is totally unrealistic. And in fact, it could backfire big way, because the absence of order, as was explained earlier by Chris and Walid, is actually not a threat only for the Palestinians, but it's also a threat for the very security of Israel. So the best way, I think, moving forward is Israel has got to accept that occupation must come to an end.
Hey, Looney, I follow Hassan on Twitch too. Don't get me wrong. Like, that's not the problem. It's just that it's a sea of content. Why try and compete in that space right now? Not necessary. There's already people doing it perfectly fine. And I think BCat's is saying that would be hilarious to the montage video about Cenk and Hassan. So I'm glad to hear that, because that was one of the things I was genuinely considering. I don't know if you can tell by the tone of my voice, but I was like, this would be good. This would be good content. Like, because I can just remember some of those arguments, like, in my brain. They're, like, burned into my brain, because I've been watching leftist content. Like, I think I probably found TYT in 2013, 2014, some way back. Same thing for, like, Majority Report and some of the other... I'm trying to think who else. I think some like the Splinter TYTers were actually kind of going by then too, like Damage Report.
A two-state solution is not something that they can reject unilaterally, and they don't have the right to deprive the Palestinians of self-determination.
I might need another mod, says Looney. So true. I already have technically 3 right now. Trying not to I'm definitely not going to do the letter hack thing where all watchers are mods. That's unnecessary and actually counterproductive, in my opinion. Nothing against letter hack's content, but I find that to be insane. I'd actually prefer it if he made me not a mod, just so we could have regular viewers. Because I feel like it's awkward for new chatters to show up and there's just a sea of mods. It's like, oh God, what am I allowed to talk? And so I don't know. I mean, maybe it'll work for him. I'm honestly hopeful about it, but I have my own concerns about that.
If they don't want to occupy according to the international law, then they have to step back a little bit and allow the international community to take on.
Wait. What did Simpsons do? Wait, so many comments in chat. I'm not keeping up at all. There's something weird about reacting to a reaction channel. It's like your feedback. I mean, it does feel odd sometimes, right? When I think, what was it? I think I was watching NCC a couple of days ago where she was reacting to a video of somebody else reacting to a video of somebody reacting to a video of them, and I thought I was looking into a tesseract of Twitch, like somehow Twitch had come up with a new product or something. I was I was like so thrown. Oh my God. But like I still watched it. That's the thing. I watched it. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was fucking hilarious. I was overwhelmed when there were only 5 other people, but they're all mods. Meta, so meta, so incredibly meta.
And from that point, I think the international community has really run out of options short of international protection. And given the number of people that have been killed, we're now edging on 30,000 people directly killed through this war.
Too. That's all right. We're gonna have to go back again, chat, because I am so bad at my ADD is so bad, and you guys are just distracting the fuck out of me right now. But FG agrees with me, and that's the thing. Like I do feel like there is this aspect of it being kind of daunting, feeling like you're surrounded by like your teachers or something. It's like, okay, hi guys, it's me. Don't worry, I'm just gonna type a message. And like the thing is, I was actually gonna tell him, but I couldn't find his Discord for a while, and then once I did, I forgot. But now that we're talking about stuff like this, it like triggered it in my brain. But like I was gonna try and like what's the word like suggest it to him, like not like as a criticism really, because like I know he's got his own intentions with it, and like I said, I hope it works, but I just figured I'd throw out that 2 cents of mine to him and be like, hey, this is just like in terms of like growth on a long term, I'm just not sure that having 10,000 mods is going to be a good strategy. Because then how do you know who's doing what's right? Like you need some kind of system. Otherwise I think it'll be overwhelming.
National protection is the only way forward, and it has to come under Chapter 7, where Palestinians are protected not only in Gaza but also in the West Bank, to allow them the space.
Wait, I didn't do it. I gotta go back another minute because I missed the fucking stuff that's happening. There we go. Okay, my focus. I will get it somewhere near a normal level, I'm sure.
As the ultimate solution for the conflict between Israel and Palestine, as did many nations. I think Netanyahu is mistaken to think that now he can dictate on the Palestinians and the rest of the world what the future of Gaza would look like. It's a big miscalculation because of the mobilization that has happened in opinions, in courts, all over the world. People are not, I think will find it very difficult to accept what he's putting forward. His idea is to continue occupation, but without calling it occupation, without being accountable for it as an occupation. He's calling for Israel continuing to have full security control, not only in Gaza, but also in the West Bank. So he's reversing whatever small achievements have been made with the Oslo Agreement.
Oh, okay. So some people are managing mods in LetterHack. Thank you, AC. Or was that AC who said that? Yeah, AC said that. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I was not aware that there was a mod hierarchy in there. So that does actually give me some more confidence in this system of his.
He's talking about full control from the river to the sea, And within that, he would like the Palestinians to go back to the tribal days, where he would selectively appoint civil leaders, tribal leaders, who will then carry the aid on behalf of the population, manage their daily affairs and so on. And that is totally unrealistic. And in fact, it could backfire big way because the absence of order, as was explained earlier by Chris and Walid, is actually not a threat only for the Palestinians, but it's also a threat for the very security of Israel. So the best way, I think, moving forward is Israel has got to accept that occupation must come to an end. A two-state solution is not something that they can reject unilaterally, and they don't have the right to deprive the Palestinians of self-determination. If they don't want to occupy according to the international law, then they have to step back a little bit and allow the international community to take on its responsibility. And from that point, I think the international community has really run out of options short of international protection. And given the number of people that have been killed, we're now edging on 30,000 people directly killed through this war.
Oh no, Brandy feels garbage. What's wrong? I hope you're okay. I certainly hope it's nothing I've done.
International protection is the only way forward, and it has to come under Chapter 7, where Palestinians are protected not only in Gaza, but also in the West Bank, to allow them the space to come up with this revitalized government or state.
Right.
And this will take time. It could be a 2 or 3 or 4 year break, but it cannot be done under the administration or the military administration of the Israelis, because Israel has shown long enough history of very aggressive occupation, which many nations, if you were following, I'm now speaking to you from The Hague, have illustrated it one after the other over the last few days in The Hague. If you refer to the Qatari statement, for example, they've very clearly pointed out the nature of this occupation. It's not an ideal form of occupation that follows the law.
Right.
This occupation is determined to depopulate the area and push the Palestinians out and continue
Sultan,
with its...
okay, I hear what you're saying about the occupation, because of course that is the context for everything that is happening here. But Walid raised a point earlier on, and he said that for Israel to destroy sort of the civil society and civil administration in Gaza, this is a strategic tool to pressure Hamas when it comes to any sorts of negotiations taking place. And we know now there have been negotiations, of course, in Paris. We wait to hear what comes out of those. Do you think that Israel, first of all, do you agree with that statement? And do you think that Israel is succeeding in pressuring Hamas?
By the way, chat, this might be controversial, but since this YouTube channel is not yet monetized and it's Sunday FUNDAY, if there's a song you want to request, I'll just play it. I don't care if they don't not pay me for this, because they're already planning on not paying me for this. 15 views or 50 views, 100 views, whatever it might be, on a video that's not monetized is still $0.00.
In that way.
I mean, what can they do more than killing 30,000 people, destroying the whole of Gaza? I don't think it's about just pressuring Hamas, although it may have some impact. It's really about making sure that the whole population is mobile. They want the Palestinians to be in a mobile form where they can be pushed anywhere at any time. They push them from north to the middle of Gaza, to the south of Gaza. There are talks about arrangements between them and Egypt to temporarily push them into Sinai and then allow them back after Israel has secured the area. All these scenarios, I think, are obviously are illegal and unrealistic. And if anything, they're going to create a...
Yeah. No, well, I hope that's in response to me. I mean, the thing is, I just understand how the monetization system kind of works on both YouTube and Twitch. And so it's just kind of whatever to me, like, in terms of like these early streams. These early streams are just about getting viewership up, getting people subscribed to the channel, and getting content on there for hours watched and stuff like that, because the criteria to get monetized on YouTube is different from Twitch. I'm already monetized on Twitch, and I was actually going to try and stream there and do more fun content today, but I didn't. I wound up just going straight to YouTube because that's what I've been doing all week. And so, yeah, like, if I wanted to, I could just open up Twitch and start trying to make money on there right now, because I already have everything set up, people to give me donations and to make ad money on there as well. But I just find that the YouTube, it's just easier for me to focus on one at a time anyway, so it's kind of whatever.
Generation that will be full of more hatred to Israel than the one that has just passed. Israel without
Mike,
changing.
It depends. It really depends, Mike. There's like a level to it. There's like a level to it. It's complicated. Like if it depends on what you're doing, like how you're violating. If it's just if it's purely copyright and you're not being reported for it, like actively, and while the systems, you're right, there is an automation to it. From my personal experience, if you play music that's got a DMCA against it, your stream will be most likely just, you'll be told after the fact that you have been copyright struck, and while while you're live, you won't have any idea whether or not you've been copyright struck. Like, I may very well have already played some amount of copyrighted music on here. It's happened to me multiple times. Like, every video, not every single video, but like 60% of the videos that, like the live stuff I've done, has wound up having some amount of content that was copyrighted. Music. It was all music stuff. But it didn't get stopped while doing it because I wasn't like actively, like, you know, like nobody was actively reporting me for it. Like, the automated system will get the video demonetized, but getting the stream taken down mid stream, there's different, like, somebody does need to actually come to the stream and see that you're doing something wrong effectively for it to be taken down. Sorry, I don't mean to get so deep into the weeds on monetization.
The way they address the Palestinian question, they can never have security. A level of hatred by simply allowing a small amount of aid here and there.
Okay, Waleed, we started out the show and you said that you wanted to address this Netanyahu's post-war.
I feel like I'm just not paying enough attention right now to this video. There's been so much going on, and I keep completely stopping in the middle of it to talk about what I'm not watching. And it's not conducive to making this content. Granted, it was supposed to just be a fun day. I wasn't even going to clip this stream, so I guess I'm just going to stick with that. You have no idea how any of it works, BCAT? Yeah, and it's not shocking. I mean, most people don't quite understand it all, because there's so much to it, right? And there's different laws for all this different stuff that may or may not be even on the the thing is each platform has their own rules too, right? Because there's the law, and then there's the rules of the platform, which may differ from the law. It may not even take the law into account. That's just a fact, you know. And it's really at the end of the day, it's up to the platform, or unless they get sued, then the law comes into account.
Plan. Now, part of the document states that, and I'm quoting here, that local elements with management experience will be responsible for civilian management and public order.
Definitely having fun. Glad to have you people here. I feel like I'm not being as productive as I like. I was planning on doing a Sunday Funday stream. We were just going to chill, not watch the news, and I was going to do work. I was going to get the Discord up and running. I was going to, what else I was going to do? There was a few things that I needed to do that I have not yet even close to tackled.
In Gaza, right? This is what Netanyahu is saying that he plans to do. And then we see this destruction of the civil society and civil administration in Gaza. Is there a link between the two? And talk to us about Netanyahu's plan and what you make of it.
Yes, of course. And if you allow me, I want to summarize a little bit the history since 1967. And I want to refer you to Shlomo Gazit.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, here's the thing, AC. There was actually a time, very short period of time, for like a month, like in between when I first started streaming, took like a year plus break, and then came back to it, and then now, where during that month it was probably like it's like last year, almost around this time, a little later. It was actually probably closer to like the summer, I guess. Late. I'm trying to think, when was the NBA Finals or the playoffs? The thing is I was watching, I was watching all the NBA playoffs on stream on Twitch for like a month, for like a straight up month, like commentating on the games, like I was an announcer, and I knew for a fact that it was a DMCA violation, 100%. But it took somebody coming onto my stream, who I told to like somebody came onto the stream. This is actually a fun story. Somebody came onto the stream while we were watching the NBA. There was I probably had like 300 concurrent viewers at that time. Everybody was having a great time. Sure, were we violating ESPN and TNT's copyright? Yeah. How much do they make again a year? Point is that like somebody came in who verbatim told me to shut up so that they could hear the game, at which point chat exploded on this individual, and I was like, okay, you need to chill out. First off, this is like the only way that I feel that I'm like contributing to this in any way, so I'm gonna keep talking, first off, and two, chat has spoken. And so like that individual decided to report the stream, and the whole stream got taken down in that moment. But we had made it weeks of watching the NBA, like weeks. You just follow, I just saw it, but we don't have. I have the browser source muted. Otherwise, there would have been oh no, I'm also not streaming on Twitch right now, so I didn't get the note. Because technically, I've got like what do you call them? Like animations and sounds that go off when I'm on Twitch, like whenever somebody follows. But I did see that actually, Looney. So thank you for the follow. Brandy. Twitch is like the wild west of streaming, I swear to God. Even though it's been around for so long, they've been getting better at it, but like their copyright, their like ability to crack down on things is it's so limited, and they're always doing what they quote unquote can do, supposedly, but from what I can tell, they would prefer people who are streaming on there than YouTube. So as long as nobody's actively telling you to stop, you might be able to get away with it. Transitioning the content is bare minimum. Exactly. Trying to transform that content was my only way of saying, hey, I'm doing something. I'm talking this whole time. You can barely hear the game right now because I'm talking so much. Because I honestly do watch a lot of basketball. So like I was able to do very, very like cogent commentary, in my opinion, enough that like I had tons of viewers at that point. But yeah, it's unethical, undoubtedly.
Governor of the colonial administration in the West Bank and Gaza Strip. He put his book titled "The Carrot and the Stick," and he says that Israel can only prevent the Palestinians from self-determination only if Israel administrates or controls or manage the Palestinian population. It manages the Palestinian population through an indirect colonial rule, whether it was like the villages leagues, the Palestinian
transform, transition, same idea. I was just searching for another word, synonym.
Authority through international agreements, or whether with clans or families inside Gaza. This is the plan Netanyahu is talking about. Regardless, it is an indirect colonial rule in which a colonial bureaucracy, which is the military council led by the Israeli occupation forces, lead. The third component is the carrot and the stick, which means that these parties, which Israel wants to collaborate with, are to be rewarded, empowered if they adhere to Israeli security policy and its Israeli agenda, and they are punished, and violence could be used against the population. And this
oh God, wireless mic. Yes, there is a GNN Discord called the Galactic Newsroom, which I am in the middle of building, which I was supposed to be finishing right now, and instead of that, we're watching more Doomer news for some reason. It was supposed to be Sunday FUNDAY. What have I? How? Why are we here right now? This is the opposite of fun. This is sad and depressing, slightly more than I would like.
Parties that controls or manages the Palestinians' affairs inside Gaza or West Bank, wherever. Okay, this is the carrot and the stick, and we never saw like a much more violent stick than the genocidal war that we witnessed today. But if we talk about the day after Gaza, Netanyahu mentioned what he doesn't want in Gaza, but he never said what he really do want in Gaza. And the reason is that he left this intentionally. He wants to make a vacuum in order to re-engineer this colonial administration.
I didn't even see Moanoa come back. Hey, Moanoa, good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, I thought I added you. Oh, fucking hell. I'm so behind on stuff. Okay. All right, I think we're just gonna keep watching this, but my commentary might go down because I'm trying to finish doing this. The more people talk about the Discord, the more I feel like I'm neglecting my duties because I have it's mostly set up, but right now I'm just trying to finish all of the coding stuff. Well, not coding. I mean, it kind of is coding technically, but it's just Boolean driven effectively. So I'm just trying to get permissions and roles, bots, and everything else set up properly in the server before I unleash it on people. Mostly because I would like the server to be a secure place for people to discuss stuff, to be able to share information with one another and not be worried, as well as to have organization so I don't lose my freaking mind as well. So hopefully I'll be finished with it soon. I've at least created the bare bones of it, and I'm just kind of getting through the weeds of it now. Ooh, Raptors in chat, everybody.
A little bit different from discussing the occupation from the international law perspective. If we look at the colonial management of the Palestinian population, we see that Netanyahu's day after plan is part and parcel of a long doctrine started in 1967.
Okay, let's bring in Chris Gunness. Chris, the Israeli military, when asked whether they were targeting police who are guarding aid convoys, had this response. The Israeli forces said, the IDF is operating to dismantle Hamas military capabilities. Elements involved in military activity may be targeted. What do you make of that response?
Well, I am living proof of the disinformation and, frankly, the lies which the IDF have put out. I could write my PhD thesis about this. Those comments are simply not to be trusted. Reality, the number of civilians, women and children who have been killed, belie that frankly insulting statement. But can I pick up on something which Sultan, I think, was saying quite rightly earlier, and that is about the right of the occupying power to have a role and a say in the political dispensation of what comes next, the so-called day after. What we have right now...
Yeah, no word from Morbius yet. I'm just hoping that he just needed a break from things, Let's not assume the worst. I think it's best that we stay positive about what is going on with Morbius, There's been plenty of times where I've been away from chat for a little while and come back, and I'm sure that, he probably just had some life things to do. Maybe here's a thought that's come to mind. Maybe Morbius just needed to go make some more money because he's throwing so much of it around in leftist chats that he's starting to run out, which I would think is only a reasonable assumption. So I just trying to stay positive about that one. So everybody, think happy thoughts about it. Right, bunch of stuff here. Is GNN Sunday FUNDAY entertaining? Uncertain. Okay, Nightbot. Hot take. A little offended by that. By the way, can you guys hear this when I do this? Is that audible to you?
Alluded to is more than a quarter of the UN member states in The Hague right now at the ICJ asking for an urgent determination that the occupation is illegal twofold. First of all, in the way it's applied, the apartheid system, the arrests, the torture of children in the middle of the night, the blockade of Gaza, and now this genocide, but also existentially, that the occupation is illegal because it denies the Palestinians the right which all peoples have to self-determination. So the idea that the occupying power can determine who in Gaza decides on self-determination is a clear absurdity. And the other, I think, very valid point that Sultan made is about international protection. When you look at Rafah, when you look at 1.5 and growing number of people in a place which was intended to support life for 250,000 people, that's 6 times more than is there. Clearly, the protection of those people and the whole of Gaza needs to be taken out of the hands of the Israelis and put under international.
There we go. Nightbot's finally getting some good answers for us. I was about ready to airlock them. Slightly audible like everything else here. Offensive, but okay. Cool. No, I'm just trying to make sure I, like I had set this up earlier just to test it, and I wasn't sure because I forgot to do a recording. But thank you. Thank you for letting me know.
Were on the ground. There were warships off the coast of Haiti. There were floating hospitals. There were aircraft carriers with helicopters ferrying people backwards and forwards. We need to establish 75,000 latrines, 1.5.
Wow, chat. You're just full of jokes. And this is important stuff in front of you right now, and you just keep making jokes about chat and my mic. My God. Ridiculous. He's probably doing better than us because he stepped away. I assume that's in reference to Morbius. Okay. 100%. The news and online content has been pretty heavy. It makes complete sense. He just wanted to step away from a bit. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, and that's what I'm trying to continue thinking. If So Life was here, modded. Yeah, So Life. I'm sure he's just busy doing life things with his soul. Only makes sense.
1.5 million people does not deteriorate to the point where a catastrophe turns into an apocalypse.
Okay, let's get Sultan to elaborate on this point of international protection. Sultan, how do you get there? And, Chris Gunness is saying that you need America to kind of spearhead this. That's, one would say, highly unlikely, isn't it?
Well, at the moment, it's probably difficult given that the United States is in elections year, and that's something that Netanyahu understands very well. But I feel that the issue has now gone beyond the hands of the United States and even the Permanent Five. Although there is an attempt by the United Kingdom and others to circumvent the discussion in The Hague to bring back the issue of the Palestinian, the occupation of Palestine to the Security Council, knowing 100% that it's been there for 75 years and nothing happened. The rest of the world is waking up. And I think Gaza coming so close to Ukraine and the contrast it has developed when you compare the two cases has given the rest of the world, particularly the global south, an incredible amount of energy to stand up to all sorts of injustices. What we saw South Africa doing in The Hague is not it's not an easy task for a country like South Africa to take Israel, knowing exactly who's behind it, to take them to court. But it has really started to worken up the humanity of the majority of the population, including large numbers of the populations within those dominating countries. So I would be really surprised. I don't think we can really go back to the before 7 of October arrangement that the Israelis can simply assume they will dictate on the rest of the world what can happen. And particularly, I mean, they need to look at it from their security perspective.
Hey, what's up, my dogs? I'm a motherfucking goth dog.
not only the security of Israel, but the security of all of us from a wave that we dread to think about in terms of terrorism. What the Israelis have fed through the killing, the relentless killing of the Palestinians, they have fed a huge, anger around the world that can easily translate into terrorist movements that will probably be much worse than we saw around the 9/11 and the years after.
Right.
So it is in the interest of everyone to start thinking collectively as to how to diffuse the situation on humanitarian basis, but also on security basis, and also on developmental basis. When we talk about the reconstruction,
let me just jump. Pardon, I do apologize, but just for the sake of time, we just have 1 minute remaining, and I see that Walid wants to jump in there. Walid, final thoughts for you?
Sure.
Yes, I wanted to say that regardless of our position from Hamas, everybody, all the Palestinians think that it is the right to use revolutionary violence against the occupation power. But regardless of the position of Hamas, it is ethically the role of Hamas to govern Gaza Strip in the day after, because it was the government responsible of 2.5 million Palestinians, and she holds all the files and she holds everything in Gaza. So it is part of destroying the Gazan population if we want to move this administration suddenly to any other party.
Right.
And it is also the role of the Arab countries, the Arab regimes that surrounding Gaza, to contribute once and forever to end this humanitarian in Gaza Strip.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you for joining us. Thanks to all my guests, Chris Gunnis, Walid Habbas, and Sultan Barakat. Thanks for watching. You can see the program again anytime by visiting our website, aljazeera.com.
Yep.
For further discussion, you can go to our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/
Might be funded by the Qatari government, but they do some pretty good reporting over there. Okay. The big city. Well, I hope everybody in chat is having fun so far. Although I feel like it's been difficult to have fun with all the bad news out there. Having lots of fun without Soul Life. Well, Soul Life doesn't have to be everywhere at all times. I'm sure Soul Life has plenty of things going on in life that taking up his time, and I'm sure he'll be here at some point. Anyway, I'm gonna try and get a couple of things done here on Discord and on the stream to try and make everything as make sure you lie down first. Very good advice. Very good life advice. Okay. Oh boy, 3 live videos happening right now that all look kind of interesting / important. Might throw one of these up instead of music. Okay, hold on, chat. Which one do we look at? We're gonna watch this.
So we leave our
Pause. Back. Back. Go web go. Go web go. What is going on here? What in the heck? Does Feldman stream tonight? Seems late for Feldman, but I could be wrong.
dear friends, let's get to work.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Most merciful. To our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and delegates from the...
So, this video. Let's see here. This is currently happening right now. I've just rewound us by about an hour and a half. This is the World Trade Organization holding a meeting in the United Arab Emirates.
These many countries, a very good morning to you, and we hope we can have your undivided attention. إلى حضورنا الكريم نتمنى نحصل على انتباهكم لبضع لحظات. Distinguished guests and dear delegates, we are about to commence our 13th Ministerial Conference brought to us by the WTO. However, our sign to commence will be your collective attention by taking your seats. Only then we can take the cue and we can commence, of course, this promising gathering of ours. حضورنا الكريم، نحن على وشك بدء أعمال هذا المؤتمر. إشارة البدء ستكون أخذ مقاعدكم وبعدها نتوكل على الله. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, our cue to start the proceedings of today's conference will be you taking all of your seats.
Let's move it along. Everybody sit down. Quit shuffling.
Vice Chairs, His Excellency Honorable Todd McClay, Minister for
Seems super
Agriculture,
quiet.
Forestry,
What in the heck?
Hunting and Fishing, and Trade of New Zealand. His Excellency Mr. Jorge Rivera Staff, Minister of Trade and Industry of Panama. And His Excellency Mr. Luke McLaurin-Barga Atangana, Minister of Trade of Cameroon. Her Excellency Dr. Atalia Lesiba Molokome, Permanent Representative of the Republic of Botswana to the United Nations and other international organizations in Geneva, and General Council Chairperson. Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the opening session of the 13th WTO Ministerial Conference in Abu Dhabi. Marhaba. Our 13th session takes place as we mark the 30th anniversary since the establishment of the WTO. Let us give a round of applause for our MC13 host, the United Arab Emirates, for their hospitality and warm welcome to the MC13 participants. Our opening session will have 4 segments. Let me walk you through each of them. During the first segment, we will hear the welcome remarks of the MC13 chairperson. This will be followed by the opening remarks and formal transmittal of work by the General Council chairperson. Thereafter, the MC13 chairperson will propose that the Ministerial Conference adopts the MC13 agenda. We will then proceed to the second segment, which is the ceremonial part of the opening session. We will then move to the third segment, the accessions ceremonies. This will include the MC13 chairperson proposing that the Ministerial Conference adopts the report of the Working Party and the draft decision on the accessions of Comoros and Timor-Leste, and approves the draft protocols of accession of Comoros and Timor-Leste. the presidents of Comoros and Timor-Leste will address the ministerial conference. Congratulatory remarks will be provided.
Oh my God, this is just precursor. Would you shut up?
Director General, Your Excellency, Dr. Athalia, the Deputy General Council Chairperson, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and very good morning. It is with a great pleasure to welcome you all to the United Arab Emirates for the 13th session of the Ministerial Conference of the World Trade Organizations here in Abu Dhabi. As the chairman of this very important conference, it is a privilege to address such distinguished guests, and it has been a pleasure to work with you all in preparation for this moment.
Okay, this is this is
Over the past
painfully
3
boring.
decades.
I am sorry, folks. We're changing this. I don't know if anybody was super stoked about hearing from the World Trade Organization, but I might personally have to wait for a compilation video on this one, or at least not subject you all to this, because wow, talk about painful. The rhetoric is almost feudal in reverence. Or reverse. I can't tell if it's supposed to be reverse or reverence, but I feel like both both of those are kind of fitting. But yeah, I mean, if you guys were genuinely watching this, I will continue playing it, but I didn't want to bore you all to death. I felt like music was better than this. But hey, if you would like to watch this, I will continue it. Up to you. I'm going to wait. 1's in chat if I should continue, 2's in chat if I should switch it to something else. And meanwhile, I'm going to try and fix the Discord some more. Was reverence. Okay, okay. Yeah, I thought so. I thought so. Move on, move on. Yeah, no. It was painfully boring. It's like they're trying to put us to sleep, I swear to God. Which, you know, for people who are trying to run the global finance system might be beneficial. So that people like us might just be like, yeah, 2's, immediately 2's in the chat. Not shocked. Not shocked to hear that. It's just horrible. All right. Well, we have some other options. So the UN environment. Actually, oh, I didn't even read this properly. I think we should watch this. Are they still talking? Oh, they're not talking right now. They're just... Okay. We're going to hold off, I think, on that. But there is a UN environment assembly, which looks interesting. We'll move over to Brussels, Belgium. Now, I have no context to give to this quite yet. I'm going to try and do a little research while we're watching it. This is a video entitled Live. European Farmers Protest in Brussels. This is a Reuters live video. I'm pulling it back slightly just so we can see the context of it slightly. Whoops. Whoops. There we go. Okay, just for a little context, this is another Reuters snippet. According to this, it says protests have erupted in several countries in Europe, exposing anger about low prices for produce, rising costs, cheap imports, and constraints imposed by the EU's drive to fight climate change. So my guess is that these people may very well be protesting regulations on climate change, but they're also seemingly protesting a number of other things that I think if they would maybe analyze the situation further, they'd realize it wasn't necessarily the legislation against climate change inducing activity as much as it is the first thing listed in here, which is low prices for produce and rising costs. Because the fact is, while grocery stores have been skyrocketing their prices, they've still been paying producers of food the same amount or less if they can. You know, that's the business model, is to squeeze the farmers, squeeze the consumers, and hope to make a massive profit, which, as we've seen over the last few years since the pandemic, the corporate structures that be are doing a fantastic job of taking advantage of this opportunity. So a little context for at least what we're watching. Soul Life trucker protest. Are we taking the if you have a suggestion, I'll certainly take it. Just remember that I'm generally trying to avoid as best as possible watching other leftist content creators and focusing more on either ground sources, live videos such as these, or like major news outlets. Just because I don't have permission explicitly from any leftist content creators to use their stuff, and am avoiding doing such a thing. Is anything particularly interesting that happens? Police seem to have barricaded some roadway over here to keep them from continuing. Well, that's the live video right there, so it appears that nothing is... They've just blocked the street, it would seem. Okay. Okay, I think that's probably enough of that video. Yes, farmers in Europe, Soul Life, that's right. By the way, nice to have you in chat, Mini Doctors. It's really good to see you, pal. Real good. Well, I am not successfully getting the soul. I just looked at Soul Life's comment and called it the Soul Life. I'm special. No, what was I saying? I have not yet finished the Discord yet, even though I'm supposedly doing that. Supposed to be working on that. Man, I feel like I'm just focusing on this. Oh, okay. This is a very short video, but we are gonna watch this. Might as well. Jesus, good. This is going to be... Okay. Trigger warning.
Good evening, I'm Joe Torres. Those stories and more in just a moment, but first some breaking news to tell you about. Police made multiple arrests at a pro-Palestinian rally on Manhattan's Upper East Side. The demonstrators protested against a speaker at the 92nd Street Y. That speaker criticized a Palestinian writer who, according to the demonstrators, died in an Israeli airstrike. And at one point, the crowd directed their frustrations
Who's
at
that?
comedian Jerry Seinfeld.
Was that
as
Jerry
he
Seinfeld?
exited the event.
Of course. Of course. Hold on, we gotta look into this some more. Hold the phone. This just happened. This just happened like a couple hours ago. Or a few hours ago. Breaking news once again here on the Galactic News Nation. Zionists walk free while people using their free speech get arrested. There we go. Enjoy it, Jerry. Enjoy it, Jerry. You supporter of genocide, you. You're not a pre-member on Discord, Bad Lefty? You're a pre-member? What does that mean? What is this about bird scooters? Why are we talking about bird scooters? Hold on. We got to figure out who it was that was speaking at this event. Was today? Well, actually, I guess it was yesterday that technically must have happened. So the 25th. Oops, that's not how you spell 92Y. Give me context. Give me context. Wow, dude. I used to think Jerry was like a left-leaning guy. We just saw Jerry leaving a Barry Weiss speech at the 92nd Street Y in Manhattan, the Upper East Side. Barry Weiss. Let's all just kind of bring that into a little context, huh? Barry Weiss. One of the worst voices on the right, to be perfectly honest. Because she gets way too much, like, coverage, considering. And, wow. So, people who are protesting against Barry Weiss speaking at the 92nd Street Y arrested. Jerry Seinfeld, supporter of genocide, gets to be, look at him, you know? He gets the door open for him. He's like a king. He's like, oh, King Seinfeld, oh, make sure you open the door for me. I can't open doors for myself. My hands don't work. Yeah, great question. What is the deal with Jerry? Somebody answer that to me. Like, what happened to that guy? Like, you would think somebody with that much money. That's the thing that blows me away the most is like people with that much money. You'd think they'd be more like chill and like not. You know, they'd have time to like assess their opinions. They'd have time. They'd have the money and the resources to be educated well, you know. But somehow it always just goes seemingly in the other direction. What am I gonna do with these kids? Okay, BCat. No problem. Sleep is more important. And I can understand the frustration behind your internet going in and out. That sounds very annoying. That was a disappointing video, if I'm being perfectly honest. Really, really disappointing. Really, really unfortunate. Why can't we be better? Hit the like button. Listen to BCat, she's right. What time is it? Oh man, it's getting late. Might have to wrap this up soon so I can actually get some stuff done. How long have I been going for? 4 hours? That's not bad. We made it 4 hours. Okay. So much news in so little time. Tennessee sucks. Lost whole life. Hot take. Hot take. Feel like BCAT might take offense to that, but just barely. This is just a really short clip, and I know the video is small. I'm just going to read it. Maybe being present. Haig Gangob was laid to rest in the country's Heroes Acre Cemetery on Sunday. Gangob died earlier this month at the age of 82 while receiving treatment for cancer. And I mean, yesterday we were just talking about the
May God Almighty
genocide.
grant unto you eternal rest, and make His perpetual light shine upon you.
Wait, you don't want.
Farewell, the people's president.
You can't see it. We can rewatch it. It's a very short video. Sorry about that.
May God Almighty grant unto you eternal rest, and make His perpetual light shine upon you. Farewell, the people's president.
Because according to this, Gangob, I don't know if I'm mispronouncing that right, was Namibia's third president of the country, which was used to be a German colony, gained independence from apartheid South Africa in 1990. And last night we were actually talking about that, so for context, I mean, Germany committed a atrocious, brutal genocide in Namibia, and it has been covered in a colonialist blanket that has kind of wiped that record somewhat clean, or at least shoved it under the rug, if you will, to keep with sort of that kind of analogy. And it says he played a central role in what has become one of Africa's most stable democracies after returning from a long exile as an anti-apartheid activist. Apparently some people in chat miss smoking. I personally quit smoking cigarettes, thankfully. I started when I was very young, before it was legal, and still smoke weed, but managed to switch to vaping, which is slightly better, I think. Although studies are still out on that, so do not take that as a me suggesting that anybody watching the stream should do such a thing. Not a recommendation, just my own personal experience. Well, I guess we'll watch this, because I didn't watch it the other night.
New video of American fighter jets launching from the Red Sea, lighting up the Saturday night sky in Houthi-controlled Yemen. U.S. and British forces say they struck 18 Houthi targets, this time including underground weapons facilities. A fourth joint mission to stop attacks on military and commercial ships in and around the Red Sea. The Iran-backed rebels vowing to continue targeting ships they say are connected to Israel until it ends military action in Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on American television Sunday morning promising only victory over Hamas will end the war.
Unless we have total victory, we can't have peace. We can't leave Hamas in place. We can't leave a quarter of Hamas battalions in Rafah and say, well, that's fine.
Netanyahu also confirming he's presenting his government an updated hostage release and ceasefire deal brokered by the U.S., Egypt, and Qatar.
No.
Demonstrators demanding
it. Not health advice. Explicitly not health advice. Can't stress that enough. Eggs last way longer than they say. Apparently, according to my dogs, Soul Life is apparently going to attempt to cook a omelet with old eggs. May God be with you, Soul Life. Not sure if that's recommended either. I'm certainly not recommending it. I don't know how old those eggs are. But yeah, the thing that comes to mind when watching that, I'm going to just take it back 10 seconds so I don't lose my train of thought. But like these videos of these planes launching from aircraft carriers to go strike Houthi rebels in Yemen, it's just like, I mean, obviously it could be criticized like in a vacuum what the Houthis are doing, but if you provide any context to it, it feels very much more complicated, doesn't it? And it seems to me like US and British forces, as they're being seen here in this video, are basically saying, and you know, it's kind of fucked up, but it's basically saying like, hey, Houthis, you're trying to stop a genocide that we support, so this is what you get. And it's like, wow, that, yeah, okay, I guess we, yeah, well, I mean, if that's how, I mean, for fuck's sake. Like, why not, I don't know, get serious about negotiations, get serious about putting sanctions on Israel, maybe then, you know, because like the thing is, if you put sanctions on Israel, the Houthis don't have to, they won't be attacking ships going to Israel because there won't be any ships going to Israel. That's how sanctions work. So it's just very strange. It's just very strange strategy that's just incredibly fucked.
Stop attacks on military and commercial ships in and around the Red Sea. The Iran-backed rebels vowing to continue targeting ships they say are connected to Israel until it ends military action in Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on American television Sunday morning promising only victory over Hamas will end the war.
Unless we have total victory, we can't have peace. We can't leave Hamas in place. We can't leave a quarter of Hamas battalions in Rafah and say, well, that's fine.
Netanyahu also confirming he's presenting his government an updated hostage release and ceasefire deal brokered by the U.S., Egypt, and Qatar. Demonstrators demanding an end to the suffering. According to D.C. police, a man set himself on fire outside the Israeli embassy in Washington. Social media posts claim he yelled, "Free Palestine." Meanwhile, demonstrators in Tel Aviv insisting more be done to return Israeli hostages home. Netanyahu suggesting Hamas's demands still go too far.
They're in another planet, but if they come down to a reasonable situation, then yes, we'll have a hostage.
Netanyahu saying a deal would delay Israeli soldiers rolling into Rafah, where more than 1 million displaced Palestinians have been forced into a small area, adding that before a major strike there, civilians would be evacuated back into parts of Gaza already destroyed.
And Aaron joins me now from the White House. Aaron, is President Biden...
That's the thing I think I've said multiple times in the last couple of days, just going to say it again. Even with the ceasefire, which I think we can all agree is imperative, even with the ceasefire, even with the end of an occupation, even if both of those things happen, which to me almost seems like a far off wish, almost. Even if that all happens, all of the Palestinians now have to rebuild an entire land area the size of like New Jersey, and it's just freaking crazy to me, you know? Like, the fact is, I don't see how Israel is even thinking that there's anything left to do. They've destroyed practically everything. All the photos and the videos that I see, it seems like almost nothing is left standing. I don't know how they're ever going to even rebuild it in the first place. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't happen. I'm just saying, who's even going to fucking pay for it? Is Israel going to pay for it? Good luck. Good luck with that. It's like trying to get the Mexicans to build the wall.
Supporting the Rafah evacuation plan you just mentioned?
Well, Kate, the president's national security advisor says Israel needs to have a clear, executable plan to protect and house Palestinian civilians before a major military operation in Rafah, adding that the White House has not seen a plan like that yet.
Kate? Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
Okay, settle down. No, stop. No, don't play it. There we go. Okay. You know what, guys? I might, Palestine fact. Palestine fact. There's no Palestine fact, but there is, I believe, a Palestine command. I believe there's a Palestine command. But, let's see here. Actually, it is getting very late, so I think I'm going to end the stream here. I'm just going to do this before I leave. Well, I hope you had a fantastic night and or day. We've been here trying to get stuff done. It seems like the world won't let me. Too many problems. Too many things. For one streamlord to keep up with. That said, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. Until I see you next, you say classy, Galactic Stream Nation.